All right, let's talk about some movies.
All right. What movie y'all want to start with?
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant?
Yeah.
Oh, my movie?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with Iron Giant.
I wanted to do the Iron Giant because that movie's great.
All right. Brian, figured you needed to talk on this first, seeing it's your
It's my pick of the week.
pick of the week.
Yeah, Brian.
Well, I pretty much chose this movie because it's just a huge staple of my childhood, pretty much. It was a very large part of my... It's one of those movies that just... It never didn't exist in my subconscious, pretty much. It was always a part of my existence, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So I kind of grew up with it. So with that, there's probably some bias in it because it's one of my favorite animated movies of all time, pretty much. It's like this one, Mask of the Phantasm, or maybe Beauty and the Beast, the Disney movie.
I actually just realized this while you were saying that. Spider-Man's probably that movie for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I understand that.
Yeah, so yeah, I pretty much chose this movie because I don't know. It's always fun for me to go back and rewatch this movie as an adult. I do it at least probably like I can't say a given amount of time, but I always make a point to go back to it at some point just to rewatch it because it never loses its magic with me for some reason. It always has that emotional punch to me.
Mm-hmm. I'll say the ending of the movie is the best part. Like that is actually emotionally heartbreaking. But I'll let you continue.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the voice cast is great. I mean, you know,
it's Vin Diesel's best role.
And Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore voices the villain in it, and he's great.
He needs to do more stuff.
He does.
Dude is a legend.
He is. Honestly, and y'all might give me flack for this, I would have nominated him for Best Supporting Actor in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually would have.
I don't know about that, but he was great in Happy Gilmore.
He's one of the most memorable villains of all time.
Have you ever watched the movie Kicking It Old School?
I have not.
It's a terrible movie, like just absolutely god awful. But he's in it, and he's the father of a guy that's been in a coma for 20 years, and he comes out, he was this big skateboarder dude back in like the 1980s.
I remember this movie.
Yeah, it's an awful movie, but Shooter McGavin is always amazing in it. And I don't even know the actor's name, so whatever your name is, God bless you.
That's why he should have been nominated. We don't even call him by his name.
Yeah. We call him Shooter McGavin.
He's Shooter McGavin.
I think he's McDonald something.
Ronald McDonald?
That's it.
I
Let's call him that.
But he's great in this movie, though, Iron Giant. He has a lot of fun playing this guy because it is a typical Shooter McGavin type villain. Just this
wacky over the top person who wants to kidnap this kid.
At the same time, he is kind of menacing because that interrogation scene he has with a 10-year-old child is legitimately kind of disturbing in a way because of the way it's shot and the lighting in it.
I'll say it's a very you know who directed that, don't you? The Iron Giant.
It was the guy that did Incredibles, right?
Yep, he's a good director.
Something Bird.
Bird, yes. Can't remember his first name, but he's a good director.
Yeah,
I can still remember the exact noise I made whenever he says, "I go, you stay, no follow."
Yeah,
it was this.
That part is sweet. It's so sad. Yeah,
that was the exact noise my boyhood self made.
Mm-hmm.
Terribly sad.
I'll be honest. I think it's a better version of E.T.
I actually would agree with you there.
I think it is because
I think E.T.'s an overrated movie.
I do too.
It's got like the same concept. Like a young child finds an alien. His parents in the army gets involved. Or the military.
These both remind me of Flight of the Navigator. Did the 90s just have this sort of thing where they like doing this?
No, they had
like a small child getting in contact with aliens.
Yeah,
I actually think that was more of an 80s thing.
Yeah, maybe.
To be honest with you,
was Iron Giant in the 90s?
90s
yeah, late 90s, 97, 98, something like that.
Because Vin Diesel was in it. He would have been a kid in the 80s.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, overall, just a great movie. A good emotional movie. Animation is great. It's well shot for an animated movie because you don't really get like great shooting, like cinematography in animated movies.
For me, and I'm a normie when it comes to animated movies, I'll go ahead and admit that. I watch all these weird movies, independent movies that are live action, but anime movies or cartoons, I don't know squat. The best cartoon movie I've ever seen from a directing standpoint is probably Into the Spider-Verse, but Iron Giant was pretty great too.
Yeah. Oh well, it's all about more. It's more about like motion and trying to like make everything fluid.
Yeah,
more than anything. But
it's really well done movie.
Yeah, but but I've seen like very few like very stylized animated movies that were like huge, you know, that became big mainstream things. Normally, you have to kind of look at like weird indie movies for like those stylized animated movies. But yeah, and I mean, I was going to say something else, and sadly, it failed at the box office. Sadly, it was not. It was not a box office.
It's
success.
a classic now.
It is because it had such a success. In like video,
video on demand, video on like
and like DVD and VHS. It was like wildly successful there. I don't know the full story.
That was bought a lot at Blockbuster.
It probably was.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Star Video up the road here.
What?
The Iron Giant. We rented it like 20 times.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a little like mom and pop video store just up the road from us.
Yeah.
And
hurt my feelings whenever they went out of business.
Iron Giant. We rented that.
That and Animaniacs.
But yeah, it was. Great movie. I consider it a classic, like a modern animated classic, and I'm glad it got it apparently got a theatrical re-release a few years ago.
Okay, I did know that. 2015, I think it got a re-release. It might have come out in '95 now that I think about it.
Because I think it was a
20-year anniversary.
20-year anniversary or something like that. But yeah, great movie. I recommend it to anybody.
What's your score for it?
Probably a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10?
That's what I would give it.
What about you, Jake?
An 8.
9.
9? I'd probably give it an 8. I didn't love it, but it is a good movie.
Yeah,
I will say that. Not a big animation guy. For to pull me in, that says a lot. It is a good film. Now, Jake, you want to talk about your pick?
Beverly Hills Ninja, baby, starring Chris Farley, the late and great. So, the movie itself, it's
horrible.
Well, I was going to give the plot, but you go
right ahead.
Yeah, the movie it's about this secluded group of modern day ninjas in like Eastern Asia, like Japan or something, and they end up finding a baby washed ashore who is white. And the very first cut of the movie is whenever he's grown up, and you see all these Asian dudes standing here like ready for their like medals for this like hardcore martial arts, and you have all these scrawny like muscled up Asian dudes, and it cuts this big fat white dude
with a bowl cut.
With a bowl cut. He's like, "Why didn't I get a medal, master?" The movie, it's got Chris Farley in it. It's one of his last movies he ever did.
He's the only good part about it.
I mean, if any movie with Chris Farley in it, I'll immediately like. But this movie, it's awful. It is terrible. But my God, it has sewn a place into my heart for forever.
I was telling you all, my favorite part of the whole movie is probably the hibachi scene.
Yeah, whenever he like
he's trying like coffee.
Yeah, he's like flinging stuff everywhere, like and it's like chicks' tits and everything.
Yep. He's even trying to do the
Doesn't he have like a fake mustache? He looks like he has an Italian mustache.
and he accidentally kills a guy.
Yeah. Because them guys come in and start shooting.
Yeah, he slams him onto like the stove.
He ends up losing the grip of one of like the cleavers that he's wearing, and he lets it go, and it goes right into the chest of one of the hitman's. It goes right into one of the hitman's chest.
See, you can, and they call him. What do they call him? The Great White Ninja. the entire.
What's that one part? He's like, I must go to the hills of Beverly.
Yeah, the hills of Beverly. Yeah. And the entire movie is revolving around him wanting to become a true ninja.
Yeah.
And this hot, like, Beverly Hills woman comes to Japan and, like, goes to this secluded place for some reason. What was it for? I can't even remember. It was something along the lines of she needed someone to find someone for her.
I would love to know what studio head thought this film was a good idea.
Well, you know what they did, right?
What studio?
They saw the movie and thought, this is crappy.
No,
and then
where did this even get started, is my question.
Oh.
Like, where did it, like, did a bunch of execs sit inside of a big evil dungeon and come up with, oh yes, what are the children into nowadays? Kung Fu in Beverly Hills. Oh, and they like the Chris Farley too, I believe. Let's do that. Let's make that a movie. I want to see that meeting, how that went down.
To be a fly on that wall.
Yes.
Just let me be a fly on that wall.
I'd like to
baby.
see what all was on that table, too. that
My
they were
God.
snorting. Because this sounds like the dumbest.
Oh, it's one of the dumbest movies ever
Yeah.
made.
Yeah. After watching it, I was honestly more interested in how this thing even came to be.
Came to fruition.
Yeah.
It's like, who thought this was a good idea? But the movie, of course, bombed at the box office.
Yeah.
It was. It barely made any profit, if any. I'm fairly sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know if you're right on that. Because
I could see that actually making a lot of money.
look that up real
yeah,
quick.
I'm looking it up.
Because I actually, if I remember what I read on it, it apparently was #1 that week. If I
real?
if I read what I just did the research on for this movie,
And it probably wouldn't have been.
and now this is Wikipedia.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here.
This is
It probably
Wikipedia
would-
is my research, but
Probably wasn't a big budget.
Well, Wikipedia is a fairly good one.
Wikipedia's okay.
There we are. There's the Wikipedia. Well, give me a second, boys.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick 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 tock.
Okay. Beverly Hills, directed by Dennis Dugan.
He also done Grown Ups 2 and Grown Ups, and he's done all the bad Adam Sandler movies.
Oh my God! The thing on it says Kung Fu.
Kung Fu?
Kung Fu.
Is that the cover?
Yes. Budget $18 million. It made 31.
That actually is not that good.
yeah, no.
Because budget is only budget. You have to inflate it by double.
Oh my God!
So it
And
probably
Yeah, it was not a.
it was a failure. Then.
It was a bomb.
They even
Technically.
gave Chris Farley's character like a what would seem like a fat Japanese name, Haru. I mean, that just to me that sounds like a fat Japanese dude name,
It does.
Haru.
Haru.
I forgot Chris Rock was in it.
Yep.
Chris Rock is in it.
He was amazing in the movie. I don't care what anyone says. He was the part where he's swinging on the freaking palm tree.
Yeah.
See, pretty much half of the movie you can bring up and you'll laugh at. But
You will, but not for the reasons that the movie intended.
It's just
It's a so bad's good movie. I'll say that.
yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
is.
I was a little hyperbolic when I said I hated it. I don't hate it. It's so bad's good. I'll say that. Chris Farley's good in it.
It's funny bad.
Yeah.
Chris Farley's amazing.
You won't
I
be
really
bored
like it.
watching.
No, you will not.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness! Whenever he's trying to like fit in Beverly Hills, and he ends up like taking a sword and slashing through like an entire hotel room.
Yeah.
And he's
Like,
trying.
why? Why is this a movie?
It's incredible. I'll say that. I'll agree.
Yeah, it really is. It's a good movie.
Oh man.
So you have anything else to add on to Beverly Hills
Yeah,
Ninja?
Brian, you have to have something. You barely said anything.
What do you think about this piece of art?
What do you think about the score of the movie?
The score. The score.
Is there even a score? It's just a soundtrack.
Yeah. Really, the score is just like all the music. Like the actual
It's
score is a
something-
bunch of stalking music.
It's something to rival Hans Zimmer.
Oh, of course, yes.
Like it's like there's
What'd
like
you do if we found out
everybody-
Hans Zimmer was a
like-
composer?
what is it? Like
Wait,
everybody
wait,
loves
wait.
kung fu. Everybody loves kung fu
Fighting!
I'm turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think so.
Na.
Who's the composer?
That's what I'm looking for. There is no.
Oh, okay.
It's just got a soundtrack.
That's probably is, but you just haven't found it yet. But
You're a Ninja. Wait, what? The track listing is You're a Ninja by Chris Farley and Chris Rock.
Okay.
So, like, they actually made a song for it. Kung Fu Fighting by Patty Rothberg. One Way or Another by Blondie. We Are in Danger by Chris Farley again. Wow.
Okay.
To Shoogie Boogie Woogie. Lowrider. The Blackness of My Belt by Chris Farley again. They made their own music, guys.
wow,
Guess Chris Farley technically is the composer.
Yeah, Tarzan Boy by Baltimore. My identity must remain mysterious.
Here,
Chris
scroll
Farley.
up. There has to be a composer. I would think. I mean, good.
I swear to you, I can't find it. Music by George S. Clinton.
Then that's probably the composer.
What else is this?
Genius done.
Go
Go down to his filmography.
Oh my.
he's won awards.
Oh my. Oh, he did. He actually did Austin Powers International Man of Mystery.
Okay.
Wait, 2018. Yeah, he actually did that. So Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus 3, Big Mama's House 2, Undercover Brother. That's actually a really good movie.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Okay.
So he made the famous Mortal Kombat song then, if that's the
Yeah.
case, I think.
But no, he probably done it for the movie.
Yeah.
Because the game came out first, didn't it?
Right, yeah. I don't know why I said that. My bad.
But, nothing else you want to add to this great film?
Oh, man. One of the funnier parts I thought was the strip club scene, if I'm being honest. Because he ended up having like this saying, like, holy shit-o, is what he keeps saying.
That movie.
That was one particular thing. Yeah, man. It was just a really bad comedy heightened by Chris Farley, pretty much.
What would you give it score-wise?
Oh, a 2 out of 10, probably. It's a terrible movie.
What would you give it?
I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10? I'd give it a 2 out of 10, too. I'm probably going with 2. Chris Farley, and then everything else is horrible.
Yeah.
I don't rate it out of quality. I rate it out of how much I enjoy it.
Okay, yeah. Like, if I were to rate it out of, like, So Bad It's Good, it's probably a 7.
Yeah.
Like, on that scale, we'll rate it different. So Bad It's Good movie, it's not, like, as bad as something like it's not as good as something like The Room.
It's not like Gods of Egypt.
Or it's not like a Neil Breen movie or nothing where it's, like, total incompetence. I'd probably give it a 7.
Okay. There was actually, you know that one like little like soundbite sting that they use every now and then for like the background, that whoa,
Yep.
Which is
great.
I will say this: it is a movie that you have to see to believe.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I don't have much more to add to it, though.
It is.
I don't have any more to add to it.
I could go on about this movie for an hour, but I won't, because I know you want to get to something else.
Yeah. So you want me to go?
Go ahead.
No, I don't. But go.
Okay. Well, my pick of the week was Marriage Story, movie by Noah Baumbach. It came out this year. Was on Netflix. The plot is essentially about these two married people. They're getting a divorce, and basically the film tackles how you're supposed to handle a situation like that. What's best for the kid? What's best for the family? And what I love about the film is it is a pretty real depiction of divorce. It handles it in a very mature way. I think it's really well written. We'll get to your all's opinions on it here in a minute, but I think it's just a great piece of filmmaking. I love the way scenes are blocked off where you can tell visually the separation between the characters. And at times it does have some editing issues near the end where I feel like it kind of cuts off too quickly the story. They don't flesh things out completely. But overall, I think it's an excellent film. Let's start with Jake.
Who's it starring?
Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver.
There you go.
Yep.
You gotta tell the audience who it's starring,
Jesus Christ.
What did I think of the movie?
What do you think of the movie, Jake?
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And it's not because the movie isn't quality. I really do think the movie's a quality movie, and it's doing good at what it wants to do.
Just you wasn't interested by it.
I'm not interested in a movie about... I'll just go ahead and say this. I sort of take whenever it comes to my artsy-fartsy movies...
I don't think that's an artsy-fartsy movie.
And it might not be, but whenever it comes to like the movies I want to get into... I like to think that they try to exaggerate reality so that you can sort of be in a...
For artsy-fartsy movies, that's...
Or even for like Beverly Hills Ninja. There's
Okay,
you are seriously not...
You're not comparing Marriage Story
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to tell how
comparing it to Iron Giant, fine.
Fine, okay, fine.
But Beverly Hills Ninja...
I'm not even trying to compare it to. I'm trying to give like sort of how I look at it. But okay, say Iron Giant instead, where you're not going to have alien robots crashing down in the sky in a normal world. But in this world, you can. And it's sort of you can suspend your disbelief so that you can be entertained. I don't see Marriage Story as entertaining. It didn't entertain me.
There need to be more aliens.
No.
I'm messing with you.
I know. And even movies can be down to earth and like be in this world and not even have a heightened sense of reality. Exactly. Yeah. That felt like it could have been
a real thing.
Or Irishman, yeah. However, those were interesting plot lines. Yes, and I did not find Marriage Story interesting at all.
Okay.
It was about two people getting a divorce, and that's it. Divorce isn't interesting, I don't think. It's just sort of, it's a shitty thing that happens.
Yeah.
And I don't watch movies for stuff like that. I watch to be entertained. I watch to smile or cry or laugh.
Mm-hmm.
This movie couldn't make me do any of them. It just made me sit down and see how shitty people can be.
Yeah, I don't think that either one of the people in the film, for me...
I'm talking about the lawyers.
Okay, they were bad people. The lawyers were horrible human beings.
Yeah, they nailed it right on the head when it comes to lawyers. It's like, yep, that is how a lawyer is right
They're
there.
Satan.
They are actually Satan.
Yeah, during that
or they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, like that one guy who was like, "Oh yeah, Sonny, I'll help you," and divorce shouldn't be complicated. You know, like that one lawyer who actually seemed like a good person. But you can't be a good person if you're a lawyer, I guess.
No, you can't.
Because you have to be very cutthroat and hard. And
you have to bend everything to like the way you want it.
Mm-hmm. And what killed me about the lawyers was they were making it more about themselves, which I guess tends to happen because they want to build their brand as lawyers.
Yeah, I think I made a point to saying that during that courtroom scene, it became less about like Adam Driver versus Scarlett Johansson and more about Ray Liotta versus the Nora.
Yeah.
It's the only name I can remember from the movie.
Yeah.
Nora. But yeah, so I guess it's on me now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie. Okay. I didn't like
Tyler's like, I stand alone.
Yeah, I was saying to Brian, I was like, hopefully one of these days I can pick a movie you actually like on these things.
Yeah, I think a lot of it really just had to do with everything you found as a positive, I found as a negative.
All right.
Pretty much. Like, I didn't like the score. I didn't really think that the directing, while, yeah, it was visually storytelling, I didn't find any of it, like, very, like, interesting or, like, anything. Like, it was all, like, stuff I had seen before in other movies, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the one shot I use as an example would be, like, when they're sitting across from each other on the subway train, and there's an iron bar in between them.
Yeah.
Here to show the divide that these two characters are, and they're on opposite sides of each other. But yeah, I will go ahead and say my pros right now. I'll say the things I like about it. First off, Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver are amazing in this movie.
They're incredible.
They are incredible. This is some of their...
I think Adam Driver's actually nominated for Best Actor this year for the Oscars.
Him and Scarlett Johansson both deserve it.
I think they're both nominated.
And they both deserve it.
Yes.
Absolutely. These are
Not for that argument scene alone.
Yeah. These are two really good actors, and these is probably some of the best work they've done. Probably.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I will give the writing this. It does do a good job of having you not take sides throughout the movie. It's like you're never really on one or the other side throughout it.
You see both points.
You see both points. You see that they're both really right and wrong.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that at first you think that Adam Driver's character is the victim here at first.
Yeah.
You do get the sense at first that Scarlett Johansson, yeah, she is being kind of spoiled and she is being manipulative and she's kind of taken back. But then you find out Adam Driver is he is controlling. He is selfish. He cheated on her. So
yeah.
But
at the end of the day, that doesn't make them bad people.
That's
what I loved about that.
Yeah, these are good people that are just really bad spouses.
Yeah, they just don't match.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And so I did like that. But outside of those two characters, I really found all the other all the cast is good. All the cast is good. I didn't find another character that I found like interesting.
You didn't find them interestingly written.
All the side characters just felt very one note, very annoying, very just like out like in the way, I guess, more than anything. Just characters that just felt like I don't know, and I can't say that they were like that they were like badly written or anything. They were just it felt like there just wasn't anything to them. Any of like the other characters that were written. I didn't find the dialogue all that good. You said that the dialogue was really good.
I loved it.
I don't know. I
felt like it was very for me. I felt like it was very real. I don't know. Just not to get personal or anything, but I've heard conversations like that.
Okay.
And it, I was like, wow. I mean, that's exactly how that goes down. And
yeah.
That affected me. One thing that I loved in the film was the Halloween part, where basically Scarlett Johansson she takes the kid for a trick or treat one night, and Adam Driver wants to spend trick or treat with his kid, and she's kind of being an asshole about it. And finally, Adam Driver gets the kid, and they go trick or treating, only for trick or treat to pretty much be over.
Yeah.
And the kid being tired, he just wants to go home and sleep, and Adam Driver, you could tell the pain in him. Just like, this is killing him that he don't get to spend this time with his kid. And whenever the kid goes and lays down, you can tell Adam Driver's just wanting to break down. And, that's after he then immediately after he calls Scarlett Johansson and freaks out on her about the lawyer thing. But
yeah, and then you end up dropping the bombshell that...
I also love that aspect of the film where, like, they first want to start off not handling it with the lawyers.
Right.
And Scarlett Johansson was like, I want a lawyer, and then Adam Driver had to get one. And then they both realized, okay, this was actually a horrible idea because these lawyers are terrible people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when they're meeting with each other outside of their lawyers,
they seem very mature and
civil about it.
Yes.
And that's actually something I did bring up was that Halloween seems to be a huge aspect of the movie.
I actually didn't catch on to this, but I like what you had to say about it.
Because I think is it 3 times? Is it 3 times Halloween is involved?
Twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing that I found very interesting is like Halloween. Obviously, it's about where you're wearing costumes, you're wearing masks, and everything. And in any other movie, it would have been the fact that the masks are them. They're in a difficult situation. They hate each other, and the mask that they're putting on is them trying to be nice to each other, mannerly. But in this case, that's not the case. They are naturally, inherently nice and mannerly to each other. The masks are the bitterness and the hatred.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're trying to hate each other.
Yep.
But partly due to like their lawyer's influence.
Yep.
So that was something I did find kind of interesting.
One of my favorite moments in the film actually is a very small moment. I got 2 here I want to point out. They're really small moments. The first one is insignificant and doesn't really mean much, but it's whenever he goes and visits Scarlett Johansson, she just cuts his hair.
Yeah.
I love that for some reason. It just felt like even though they're going through this divorce, even though they have all these lawyers, they still are being civil in their own personal life. And then whenever they both close the door, it's after her power went out, and and then they both closed the gateway door, and it's just a separation between the 2 people. And the other small moment I really, really thought was incredible was at the end of the film whenever Adam Driver's shoes untied, and Scarlett Johansson comes over and she's like, "Yeah, let me tie that for you." While he has the kid in his arms, and the shoe's untied, she ties it back, and for me that represented basically their family is broken apart on this marriage level, but they're still a family for the kid.
Right.
And she's tying the knots back together.
It's pretty much to say just because they're divorced doesn't mean that they have to hate each other.
Yes, and I thought that was a very
because
I thought it was a beautiful
because divorce has a very, very negative outlook by most people. When really, it's probably at times the best thing that could happen to 2 people.
I agree.
Because 2 people just weren't meant to be together, and a divorce is the best thing that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, some people ain't compatible with each other, and that's perfectly fine.
But I think another big flaw I have with the movie is, and it has to do with the dialogue, is just how, like, meandering and just how, like, sideways certain conversations could get.
Okay.
Like, the 2 biggest examples I have is whenever...
I know one you're about to say, and I agree with you on it.
One of them was when Scarlett Johansson first meets the lawyer.
I disagree on that one.
And she tells the story about how she met Adam Driver and everything, and that just and I actually timed it. I think that one scene goes on for 6 minutes, and I
feel like though that's something very real though. For me, because she goes in, she's trying to break down from crying, saying, "Oh, these are nice crumpets," or this is nice tea. Just trying to get her mind off this, and then finally, for me, what it felt like for the character, and I can only speak for myself, but. It felt like her saying, she finally having a voice to speak to somebody because she couldn't go to her husband for these things.
Right.
She obviously can't talk to her kid about these things. He's too young. She can't talk to her mother.
Yeah,
her mother's pretty terrible too. Not a bad person, just very. She's
got a one-track mind. It seems like
that. And her mother also went through a marriage where she had a very unfaithful boyfriend, and the mother put up with it, where Scarlett Johansson would stand up and not put up for it.
Yeah.
So she can't talk to her mother about these things.
Right.
And I feel like that moment was very real just because she just rambles on. And I feel like even though that from a screenwriting standpoint could be seen as meandering or going on, for me it felt very real.
Yeah, or like when she's serving divorce papers, and that goes on for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Well, what scene do you think? Because there could be another one.
I thought you were going to talk about the part where the lawyer starts talking about Virgin Mary and all this nonsense.
Yeah, that's another. That
scene's awful.
Yeah, that scene. Yeah, that's another one.
That's that's a horrible scene.
Yeah, and not that I'm trying to like make any like comments or anything, but it just came off as like, huh, how about these feminists, huh? You know, like and that's how the scene kind of came off as. It became very like condescending and.
But for me, it almost came across as the director being like, "Oh yeah, I respect women too. Look, see, I can write my big fancy scene where."
But it felt like it was mocking.
I didn't see that.
It felt like that's how I came off as. Personally, that one scene. The rest of the movie doesn't have that vibe. Just that one scene did. It just felt very weird.
Okay.
Because it just did not match the tone.
Okay, I will agree it didn't match the tone with the film. It just comes out with feel, and you're like, ugh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
But the rest of the film, for me at least, I thought it was why it can go on, like some of the dialogue can go on for very long. I always felt like there was almost a truth behind all the things the characters were saying for me.
Right.
And that's why I guess I was so engaged with it. Which honestly, I can say the same for Joker. I mean, Joker doesn't have like the best script in the world, but there was always a truth or element to the film that I always felt like was oozing from it. And Marriage Story, I felt the same way.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that this is like a terrible movie or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like I didn't like it. You know, I don't see what all the buzz is about. You know, like a lot of the positives you find, I find negatives in.
Yeah.
Like that one scene you were talking about, how it just keeps going off track, like the Scarlett Johansson first meeting the lawyer scene. And it just felt like, man, 6 minutes you spend on this, and it's just. I don't know. It just dragged for me. It dragged for me. Like I would honestly thought that you could cut 30 minutes from this and not miss much.
For me, that scene made me feel like an emotional wreck, just because, even though it was going on for a very long time, for me, I was very engaged with it, just because it was truthful to her character, and I could see her character doing that, and I feel like I got an insight into the way she views this marriage. And it killed me, but I can understand someone looking at that scene and saying it goes on a little too long.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's understandable.
I just found, and I'll be honest, I found myself rolling my eyes every now and then. I found myself, kind of cringing at a few lines, or like sometimes I'll be like, "Oh my god, how much longer is this movie?
Yeah,
how much longer do I have?" And that has to be an indication of how I feel about it. You know?
That movie was boring.
I can't even say
it sucks.
The movie sucks.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The first 30 minutes, I hated it.
Okay.
First 30 minutes, it got better as it kept going.
Okay.
I will give you that. But the first 30 minutes,
Why'd you do that?
I don't know.
You're a fool.
I know.
But again, there must be something to it. A lot of people seem to like it. Maybe it's just me. It probably is.
No, I mean, it's both of you all.
No.
Both of you all.
Movie suck. Don't watch it.
No, honestly, all jokes aside, I mean, I can understand if someone doesn't love this film. It's perfectly fine.
Beverly Hills Ninja's better.
Of course.
What's Beverly Hills Ninja?
It's funnier.
It is. It's more entertaining.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's the point of movies. So why isn't it considered better?
That's your point of movies. I don't think all movies have to be
entertaining.
Actually, I think we'll save that conversation for. That's a very good topic.
I wanted to talk about it now. If that's all right.
Okay, we'll go on.
If you don't mind it, we only have 30 minutes.
That's perfectly fine.
But if you don't mind it,
yeah, I'm cool with
my point of view has always been movies can be quality and not be entertaining. However, a movie cannot be entertaining but not have any quality to it and be appreciated.
I would agree with that second part. I would say that a movie doesn't have to be quality to be entertaining. I would agree with that.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like when it comes to being appreciated, when it comes like nobody appreciates Beverly Hills Ninja. Nobody cares about it. No, nobody.
I just read up on IMDb that it's Christian Bale's favorite movie.
Yeah, so it must be liked by people.
But it feels like nobody knows about it.
Okay.
It feels like nobody cares about it. But however, you have these movies that, and this is just me, you got like Marriage Story, which isn't entertaining at all.
Okay.
But it's very quality, and people will love it.
Okay.
And I don't understand why.
Well, because for me, I can only speak for myself, but whenever it comes to film, I don't really... For me, I went into Marriage Story not expecting entertainment. I went in expecting a film that does tackle divorce and tackles these issues. And for me, I was just engaged by the characters and their struggle through this and them trying to do the best for their kid. And I found it very relatable and very interesting. And I don't know. I don't think a film, for me at least, doesn't have to be always entertaining. It has to be at least unique or interesting or have something going on.
Or have something to say.
Yeah, or have something to say. Like, I wouldn't even say all films have to have something to say, but I feel like that if you're... the best way I can explain it is a director has to have a vision. I like watching visions, I guess.
Oh, I do too, yeah, definitely.
Like a filmmaker just making their vision. Because from what I understand about Marriage Story, it is an autobiography of the director.
Yeah.
And some of his struggles, and it's very interesting for me to watch that and be like, I can relate to some of these things.
I was going to say that, like, I think I did say it felt way too real for there not to be some kind of, like, personal
story behind
it.
The entire thing is, though, if you have this 100% quality movie, the cinematography is amazing, the score is amazing, the acting is amazing, but it's insufferable to sit through.
To you it is.
To you it is.
That's what, to you it is.
But, like, just say, like, if it was supposed to be insufferable, people would praise it as being like, "Oh, the perfect."
I don't think any movie's supposed to be insufferable. I think that
unless that's kind of like the point of it, like something like that. That's more of like a horror movie of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you're talking about that.
I mean, like, say it's just insanely boring.
To you, it is boring.
To you, it is. You feeling about this movie is not universal. People did not love this movie because they found it boring.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like
that's why I liked it. I just sat down and was like, oh yes, it's boring. I love art.
I'm saying if it is like widely known as being a boring movie, but being insanely praised for its cinematography, score, acting, everything, directing, everything, but it being boring to pretty much everybody, people would still praise it as being an amazing movie.
No, because I think film at the end of the day is very subjective. I mean, there's a film that I personally don't like. It's called The Turnt Horse, where it's a 4-hour film about this family surviving during the Great Depression, and they're out picking potatoes, and the whole film is that. Like, it's them picking potatoes, eating potatoes, washing potatoes, and to me that's very boring. But to someone else, that could be an interesting study of how life was back then. That could be intriguing, the monotony of that film for some people. Okay. For me, I would give the film probably a 9, even though I don't like it. On my personal scale, I'd probably give it a 0 because I hate it. But
it's always two different scores.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: people aren't liking it because it's boring. Nobody like. I don't think anybody's watching. Nobody was watching Marriage Story and came out saying it was boring, but because of how well made it was great. Nobody calls Good Will Hunting boring, even though nothing much happens to it. Nobody calls Breakfast Club boring, even though nothing much happens.
It's about whenever you make a film like that.
It's
it's about the characters.
Movies like this, like Good Will Hunting, Breakfast Club, Marriage Story, or Silver Linings Playbook. Yeah. It's all about like the emotional attachment to the people involved in the movie.
Yeah, and how much the viewer can project or feel that from the characters.
Or like how much they can relate to it.
Yes.
Because all these movies are relatable.
Yeah.
All the movies are just like Good Will Hunting about like putting up personal boundaries or putting up personal barriers and and getting in your own way. And Marriage Story, just two people that are just too different to live together, and the ugliness of trying to separate.
Yes.
It might just be me then.
I mean, no, that's fine. I mean, it's okay to have that opinion. It just, for me, I feel like it's okay to have the opinion of not like a Marriage Story because you find it boring. That's perfectly okay.
But here's another good question. Where's the line drawn? Like when it comes to stuff like this,
I don't think there is a line.
Yeah, there is
art.
It's subjective.
I think actually too, though.
No, what are you talking about?
Listen, well, if you'd let me speak.
If someone likes Grown Ups 2, that's perfectly fine.
It might be perfectly but it's not.
Because at the end of the day, I'll go ahead and say it. Someone can find something relatable in Grown Ups 2 with the family. And like Grown Ups, where like you can go outside and play with your kids more.
Yeah, Grown Ups one I will say I do like.
Well, even Grown Ups 2, like if someone finds something in that film, that's fine. I hate it.
Yeah, I have called that Adam Sandler's worst movie, and he's made a lot of bad ones. Or not, he hasn't made, but he's been in a lot of bad ones, I should say.
But like, take it like this way though, like like we all three like Beverly Hills Ninja.
Well, no.
You don't like it?
It's in a certain way, I probably wouldn't watch it again.
It's entertainingly bad. There's a difference.
Okay, well, y'all leave me.
And for me, it doesn't reach the point of like a Neil Breen movie where Neil Breen I actually like because it is total incompetence on every level. And I appreciate him as a director going out and making what he wants to make, and I find it very inspiring, honestly.
Maybe I just have a really shitty taste.
Well, no, wait,
No.
it's
It's your taste. I mean,
it's your taste. That's fine.
Why is it
You were saying a minute ago. You were saying where's the line? And actually, Todd Phillips actually said this recently. He said movies ain't math; they're jazz. Movies ain't. You can't have a structure to a film and say this is how you make it good.
right.
Films coming from a place from the heart or the mind or whatever story you want to tell.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be a place of this is the right way to do a movie, or else you end up like Disney probably.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I get that. I actually have a weird question not a weird question, but a question for both of you.
okay.
What do you all think about music video movies? Like how that one that they released on Netflix recently. What's it called?
Music video movies.
Yeah,
Like musical.
I think I actually heard of this.
One second, let me find it real quick.
Isn't that a musical?
I think actually, basically from what I understand from what you're talking about, there was a music video. There was like a bunch of music videos, and they all tell a story, like an actual film. But it's not like a musical necessarily. Like the music's over it, but the visuals are telling like their own story.
Well, that's pretty much what a regular music video does anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's
So it's just film length?
Yeah,
well,
I think so.
there's one that Netflix released recently, and it's it's like a sci-fi post-apocalyptic crazy thing, but there's no dialogue, no nothing. There's no characters in it really.
Yeah.
It's just music played over this visual orgasm fest, and it's amazing.
That sounds interesting.
I'm trying to think of the dude that actually made it though, because he's a country singer, and it's like nothing but rock, like heavy rock and metal.
That sounds interesting. It doesn't sound like something I would go out of my way to watch, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But I was going to see what you all thought about stuff like that.
I mean, I've never seen it, so I can't really. I can't really give.
It sounds
an opinion on
interesting.
It sounds interesting. Like it almost sounds like Tool almost.
Yeah, because that's pretty much what Tool does.
Or like Rob Zombie music videos.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds a lot like to me. But it sounds interesting.
I really want the guy that made which is, I think it's the guitar player that made those Tool music. I want him to make a movie. I
would like to see, or at least him be a cinematographer.
Yeah,
because he knows visuals.
Yeah,
he does. I have one of those that I'm wanting to show to you. It's about 10 minutes long after this.
Okay.
It's interesting, is what it is.
Okay.
And I don't know. I really like them, and I don't think they're actually considered movies.
Oh, well, I think you actually have to be a certain feature length in order to be considered a film. I think you have to be 40 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, to be considered a film. Short films can be whatever length.
Yeah,
but,
a short film could be 8 seconds.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
But back to that whole thing, yeah, like I do agree with the cinema. Like there is no right way to make a film.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of wrong ways.
Yeah,
plenty of wrong ways, but there's no right way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree with that. And because
for me, weirdly enough, not to interrupt,
go ahead.
I just want to say the only wrong way to not make a film, and this might sound odd just to me, but is just not have passion in it. Like something like Neil Breen, that's a right way to make a movie in a weird way. I know it sounds really odd. The only reason I say it is because he is actually going out and putting his heart and passion into it. It's not his movies to me are not good, but
or cynical. Like being cynical about making a movie. I guess, which I guess that goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
but I guess what I'm saying is like Quentin Tarantino, does he make traditional movies? Like, are his movies like formulaic or like?
No, he just does whatever he wants.
Or goes by any standard.
He just does whatever he wants.
No, Rob Zombie, a director that who's polarizing, but we love.
Yep.
He doesn't do that way either. In fact, Rob Zombie is actually very unapologetic by the way he makes his movies.
Yeah, that's actually why I would say that the thing that works so well about Rob Zombie's films for me is that even though there is a ton of mistakes in his movies, from what you could point out, there's a heart and passion behind them. You feel like at the end of the day, this is a filmmaker making whatever he wants to make.
This is just a fanboy just making what he wants to make.
And he's going out directing films that he wants to see.
And God bless him for it.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. And he doesn't really have a bad movie. I think
the only one I don't like is the first Halloween remake. I think it's pretty bad.
We agree on that.
Yeah. I view it as kind of formulaic. I think the first
you can
half
blame the studio for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Halloween 2 is insanity.
and it's beautiful too.
It's madness. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much my thought process on it. Because me, like, even though like I've always said, you know, like to me, because I have always said that like for me to like a movie, there has to be like some engagement to it. I have to find something engaging about like the characters or something like that. Because I am a huge character guy.
Yeah.
I like if you don't have interesting characters in your movie, I'm probably not gonna love it as much as everybody else does.
Yeah, I mean that's
pretty much my thing.
Yeah.
Because I like watching interesting people do interesting things. Pretty much, I guess is the best way I can sum it up. But and really, and that's really all there is. Like there is no like major secret with me. There's like just as long as you just have like a well engaging plot with some interesting characters along with it, I'm probably gonna like your movie.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the way I am. But yeah, there is no formula that you have to follow. There's no like standard that you have to meet. Like go to the beat of your own drum.
Well, I think you actually said it, and earlier you said that Marriage Story checked all 3 boxes of things you want in films, and you still didn't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly to point out the film is subjective.
Yeah.
There's no formula to what you like or don't like. At the end of the day, it's just what you viewed and how you felt.
Yeah,
about
like
it.
in those 3 boxes, I think I said were be character driven, be very emotional, and have a happy ending.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like these movies that get like a 5% by like critics, but people will still end up loving.
Yeah.
Just because whenever they watch it, they get something out of it. Where critics, that's why I'm not big on critics, because they mainly look at it at a quality form instead of a relation form, and that's why I ignore critics' scores.
I mean, I ignore critics. I mean, I find it interesting whenever critics come out and like give awards to like Joker winning the Golden Lion was like, what the heck? That blew my mind. But at the end of the day, that didn't really change my mind of like that's how excited I was for Joker. I was just like, oh, that's cool. I was like the Oscars this year. Whoever wins the Oscars, I don't know, who cares? Like,
I just watched it for Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, the Oscars to me are more of a comedy. They're more funny. Also think it's kind of ridiculous to give an award to a movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I always find that kind of absurd. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know what I mean by that, but like,
I feel like I
a
do.
gold star for being a good boy.
yeah, like all movies are subjective. So like the people that felt the most objective about one film gets an award, but ones if this guy in the back didn't feel that way about this film.
I agree.
I just find that kind of absurd. It's like it's kind of like how I guess music is too, though. Weirdly enough,
Right.
it's art. Like awards are kind of silly.
I kind of agree with you there. Like I really do, because because really, I mean you're right. Like I mean like how one person feels about a movie, like somebody like I have said that like something like Grown Ups 2. I think going back to that, I think it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Me too.
And to me, it beats out Jack and Jill as the worst movie with Adam Sandler in it.
I gotta go with Jack and Jill.
But somewhere out there, it's somebody's favorite.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine.
And yeah, God bless that guy. Love it.
Yeah.
If you found something I didn't, great. But yeah, I mean, like, so yeah, I do think that I do agree with you. Like, I mean, I don't understand why an art form has to be awarded as the best.
I think it's pretty silly. It's just a bunch of people in tuxedos going, "Oh yes, Jeffrey, you made a film about a clown who goes downstairs. Win your Oscar and go on the way."
I think that's more of a sign of like, which one made the most money?
Yeah.
But you know,
Well,
I
the
disagree with Brian.
Oscars typically pick the safest film.
Yeah, I disagree with Brian.
What?
There is one art that everyone loves for forever, no matter what, and that is Bob Ross.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, no one can say they don't.
How can you hate Bob Ross?
Exactly. He's an angel.
Bob Ross is perfect.
He's the perfect human being.
I did meet.
He'd show a painting, and
I
5
bet
seconds
he's like-
later, it'd be like the most magnificent.
Yeah, and he's talking about it the entire time. He's just like, gotta give him a happy little friend here. Everyone needs a friend. I'm just like, yes, Bob. Everyone needs a friend.
I met someone that didn't like Bob Ross.
Yeah, and I know who it is, and that person is stupid.
Who? No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You know the person I'm talking about.
Yes.
It was a complete stranger I met while in Richmond. What are you talking
I
about?
thought he was talking about the art teacher.
No.
He hates him, and I was like, that's stupid. Why do you hate him?
No. It was just someone I ran into on Richmond, if I remember correctly. I don't even remember the person. I just remember that they didn't like Bob Ross.
Well, Jesus, Brian.
I don't have an opinion on Bob Ross.
No, Bob Ross is the greatest.
Bob Ross is
of all time.
If you don't like Bob Ross, then you're going to hell.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'll say. If you don't do, you're going to hell. You don't like Bob Ross, you're going to hell.
I just love Bob Ross, how like he would just start painting a picture, and then 5 seconds later it would cut away, and then it would cut back to him, and he would have painted the Mona Lisa. It's like, well, Bob, that wasn't just put in post at all. Oh wow, yeah, that beautiful Afro man.
I know. You know he hated that afro
Why'd he have it then?
because the children liked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
See, how can you hate him?
That's nice, but I don't have an opinion on him. I didn't really watch him very much. I mean,
I did.
growing
To
up.
be honest with you, I'm just going along with this.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's
I did not watch much of
I'm
Bob
sure there-
Ross.
I haven't either, but by God, he's perfect.
He's fine.
No.
I don't know much about him.
I can give you his entire biography if you want.
Bob Ross is the greatest artist of all time.
Correct.
I did want to ask you all this.
What's up?
What is your all? If you had to go with top 3 directors, who would be your top 3 directors of all time?
Who?
Martin Scorsese.
Number 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Brian, your turn. Let me give you a second to think.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Martin Scorsese is up there. Quentin Tarantino, Stanley Kubrick. Probably those 3 would probably be like interchangeable. My top 3 probably.
My personal top 3 would be number 1 Martin Scorsese, number 2 number 1 Stanley Kubrick. Number 2 would be Martin Scorsese, and number 3 would be Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson would probably be up there too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I'll tell you what, I love Catherine Bigelow.
I love Catherine Bigelow too. She's a great filmmaker.
Yeah, so she'd probably be up there too.
Mm-hmm.
But
she's able to tackle all these different genres, which
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with. She can tackle like a comedy or a very heartfelt drama. She's just incredible.
a war movie.
Yep.
She made Point Break.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me. Her first movie was actually a vampire movie in the 80s.
You told me about this. I have yet to see it.
I can't remember what it was. No.
I'm actually surprised you didn't say Guillermo del Toro.
I forgot Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro will be up there too. Also.
I can see Guillermo del Toro being one of your favorites.
Oh yeah, definitely top 5.
Yeah.
Without a
I
doubt.
wouldn't even have Stanley Kubrick in my top 3
Really?
Wow.
because I don't like the movies really.
Okay.
I didn't like Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Full Metal Jacket. Weirdly enough, Full Metal Jacket's the only movie that I know Stanley Kubrick made that I like.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched The Shining?
Yeah. Oh wait, never mind. The Shining. Yeah, The Shining. I forgot about that one. That's a good movie.
I know you haven't watched 2001: Space Odyssey.
I know.
I think the minute you start watching that, you don't want to kill yourself. But
Tommy Wiseau will be up there. In my
of
top.
course,
Enjoyable movie. What can I say? Neil Breen, maybe? No, not Neil Breen.
yeah, you hated watching Neil Breen except for like a couple of moments.
Yeah.
I didn't like watching No Brain.
I love
I
him.
wanted to shoot myself.
I love him.
Uh,
I think I actually might be one of the picks one of these days is a Neil Breen film.
John C. Reilly, maybe?
John C. Reilly's not a director.
He's an actor.
No, what's one minute? Not John C. Reilly. The other, John R. Dilworth. Sorry.
I don't know what else he's done.
John R. Dilworth, he directed and written Courage the Cowardly Dog.
He's an
Okay.
animator.
Okay.
I'm a bigger fan of cartoons than anything.
Okay.
And weirdly enough,
I am too, but
yeah, Yonan Vasquez, my 2 favorite cartoons. Invader Zim, he directed it.
Okay.
I respect cartoons more than I do movies.
All right.
okay.
For me, I don't know. For me, Kubrick would be number 1 just because
Yeah, that's probably my number 1 too.
I think Kubrick done so much for film, and even just taking aside from that, all of his films are so different.
Yeah.
You don't feel like if you watch one Kubrick movie, like go watch Clockwork Orange and then go watch Barry Milton.
Yeah.
Like they're 2 different movies.
And he really
in
didn't
every way.
and he really didn't have a genre.
No, he was like just the master of all genres.
Yeah.
He done horror, he does psychological thriller, sci-fi, war, and art house with the Eyes Wide Shut. So he's done like every one of them. He even did comedy with
Dr. Strangelove,
Dr. Strangelove.
which I haven't seen yet.
That movie's great. Now, the next thing I guess we could talk about is you had a video game that you wanted to talk about this week.
Oh, do y'all get to do video games again?
Yeah, we're going to do a game a week.
Hell yeah!
Next week's your pick.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you pick a game next week. We talked about Firewatch last week. Even I listened back to that. We ended up just talking more about Campo Santo and the state of their Into the Valley of the Gods.
Yeah.
But
I think the game I chose was Sly 2.
no, you chose Vampires.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines?
Yeah.
Oh, to talk more in depth about it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I
don't think we actually discussed that one.
well, I just mentioned that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it still is. Nothing's changed over the week.
What do you like about the game?
First off, the atmosphere. Like the modern urban goth vibe it gives off is just really, really good. Like, because it actually uses like sound design and music in just such a haunting way. Like there are moments in it where it's like there's actually one great scene, or not scene, but there's times where you're in the sewer and every now and then you'll just hear breathing,
Okay.
just randomly, and it immediately, every single time I hear breathing going through those sewers, I immediately start turning around looking if anybody, just instinctively, and it's never failed once. But the story is pretty much this: you are a human that, after a one-night stand with a complete stranger, gets turned into a vampire.
Yeah.
And you're brought into like this vampire hierarchy in LA in 2004 LA, and you end up pretty much having to go through like this plot of a sarcophagus that's been unearthed and is now in LA, and you have to try to find it for like the vampire prince, pretty much who is like the head boss in LA. And that's pretty much the plot, but there's so much little things that you can do also. Like, there's so many, like, little quests that you have.
You said it was a lot like an RPG, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is, because you do make different, like...
it's like hub worlds.
It's like a bunch of different hub worlds. Jacob has actually played it. Not the whole thing, but he played, like, the first couple of hours of it, and he couldn't get into it.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But because the first hub world, which is Santa Monica, is the worst part of the game. Well, not the worst part; it's the worst hub world of the game because it is the least interesting. The worst part of the game is the sewer level, which I have actually seen several different reviews of this game on YouTube. No one has anything nice to say about the sewer level. Every review I've seen of it hates the sewer
level. Is it
level.
like the Spider-Man PS1 subway level?
It just keeps going on and on and on. And
on PC, they actually, in the official patch, they patched it so that you can choose to opt out of even doing that level.
Really?
Yes.
That bad?
It's terrible.
Damn.
The official developers put that in.
That's bad.
No, it was an unofficial patch. That patch was fan made.
No, the official one on GOG. Yeah.
Oh.
The actual developers.
I didn't know that.
Dang.
But yeah, so it's not a perfect game. There's plenty of warts to it. There's plenty of, like...
It's not finished.
Yeah.
Because it had
I heard, you told me about the production history. They basically just pushed it out because they ran out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually led to, if I'm not mistaken, it led to that video game company's downfall.
It did.
I think...
ain't they making a sequel this year, too?
Yeah, it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
I heard,
which I'm pumped for it.
I don't care. I never played the first one. So.
I don't really care either.
You don't have to know from the looks of it. You won't have to know anything about the first one to play this one. So if you want to give it a try on PS4, go ahead.
Is it going to be on PS4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
think so. Can you look that up?
I thought it was just going to be a PC thing.
No. I think it's on different.
The PC Masquerade. I know Jake really. The game he's looking most forward to is the Tubahashi.
Tubahashi.
Or Tukahashi.
The electronic pet thing.
How am I looking forward to that? They're not releasing a new one.
No, you're a PC gamer and your Tukahashi is the greatest thing ever.
Tamagotchi, you fool, and it's not for the PC.
No, Tukahashi.
Let's see. That's the.
When is this coming out? And what day?
That's the tabletop that you're looking up there.
Yeah, I know.
I doubt that's what.
I'm trying to find it, you fools.
Just look up Vampire Bloodlines 2.
Yeah. Lordy. Has to be complicated.
Bloodlines 2. Yep, video game in 2020. What do you want me to look up about it?
Is it PS4
and
Xbox One? Yeah, you know what would help, Brian, if we didn't have such a shitty research guy?
Probably.
That'd probably help.
It's coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can try it out. But
I probably won't. But
I'll let you know if I recommend it.
all right.
Pretty much, 'cause I don't know if it's gonna be any good.
I'll actually watch you play it and see if it's something. Because I remember I got the Outer Worlds as soon as I seen you play it.
Yeah, okay.
That game is amazing.
That game's pretty
No, but yeah, because here's the thing: you actually can be like a total evil bastard.
That's all I would do.
In Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines in the first one.
If you do it in the second one, then that sounds like up my alley.
Because
have you ever played the game Overlord? It's
No.
a game about being the bad guy.
See that?
It kills a bit of the fun of it, where you can choose to be the good guy,
like
and
if
instead you're just like, no.
It's kind of like in Red Dead 2, where the story is all about redemption and all these things. And I choose to be a total asshole.
Yeah.
And tie old women to railroad tracks. So, Arthur, you're all right, girl.
You're a good man, Arthur.
You're a good man, Arthur.
But I would say like the most interesting thing about the overall game itself is the world building and all the interesting different aspects of the supernatural world you're in is also very interesting because there is like a lot of like unique things to it. Like your favorite part of the game, if you were to ever play this, which you won't, but your favorite part of the game probably would be the hotel scene.
You tell me about this.
Where it's pretty much kind of like a mini Silent Hill style horror section that you would definitely like, I think, because there's nothing really like groundbreaking about it. It's pretty much a haunted hotel that's haunted by the ghost of a family that was murdered by the patriarch of the family. Pretty much, the husband and father pretty much went nuts and killed them all, and then killed himself. And they're haunted by it, and you pick up little clues about it as you keep going. Which is kind of ruined, I'll be honest, because you end up finding her diary and reading the whole thing, and it kind of just gives the whole thing away. It would have been more interesting if you just found clues and just pieced it all together. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about the game, though. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Again, the sewer level and the fighting is really the only true bad thing you could say about the game, because the fighting, because it was very experimental, it's not good.
Yeah.
Like, it's very clunky, very just awkward. But I enjoy it. I do. I love it.
Okay.
The story, very well written. The story is great. The dialogue is great. And the world is great. Like, the world building itself is really good. But, and it's not that long either for typical role-playing games. It's only like, I think, 25 to 30 hours long, where others are pretty much like 50 to 60.
Okay. I mean, I'll probably never play this because I think, if I'm not mistaken, this game was a PC exclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it came out in 04.
Yeah, and you know me, I'll never get a PC. I'll never bend to your
I would love it if they made a port to it.
master race.
We are the master race.
Assholishness, where you play your Takahashi.
I would love it if they made
There's
a port.
no Takahashi.
If they made like a PS4 playable or something like that.
I doubt they will, because
Yeah.
it's probably not big enough. Well, actually, that wouldn't surprise me if there's a second one. They might do like a thing where they attach the original to it.
That'd
You
be
know what I
great.
mean?
That would be great because I would.
Like, you don't even need to do a remaster. Just
Yeah. The only thing you would have to do is fix some of the bugs.
yeah. From what I've heard, though, is a ton.
Yeah,
It's a mess.
it is. Like those unofficial patches really help, but it doesn't fix everything.
Yeah. So, before we go, I would like to ask, what is your most anticipated game of 2020?
Mountain Blade Bannerlords.
It's a PC game.
Okay, I don't... It's just too...
It's either Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 or Cyberpunk 2077.
Well, that's probably Cyberpunk.
It got delayed.
Or, yeah, I've seen that. Or, if they announce it, the Batman Arkham game that has still not been officially announced, but WB Montreal has been teasing this thing. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll come out one year. But that's about it.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Do you have anything else to add there, Jake?
PC's the master race.
Now, what about you?
More PC! Nah, I'm good. Thanks for
And-
hearing me ramble on about
Somebody
the game.
buy a PC and play with me. I'm lonely.
What about a lonely?
I'm so lonely. Oh, so lonely. I have nobody to call my own.